If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Friendship to me is a relationship that exists between two individuals that share the same perception, the same mindset, the same idea, and aim at achieving a defined objective.
To me, friendship is an act of making friends and having someone you can confide in.
I have friends, but I chose my friends by myself, because one of the method of me choosing my own friends is that if you don't have the same belief I have, if you don't share the same belief I have, if you are the kind of friend that doesn't look like where I'm going to, I can't have such persons as a friend.
To me, like my parents to tell me, show me your friend, I'm going to tell you who you are.
It's not all friends that are supposed to be accepted as friends, because you have to have a defined objective. You have to be optimistic when choosing your own friend. You don't make friends as in based on you want to as in benefit from them materially, but you make friends that will inspire you, that will influence you positively.
You see that these friends, his attitude is not really going with mine. I think you have to let go of the friend.
So now, if you want to choose your own friend, make sure that this particular friend you're about choosing should have the same mindset with you, should have the same objective with you, should not be this kind of self-centered person, but should be selfless in terms of making decisions.
Today, our topic is on friendships, and I have put together three segments. Okay, so I'm going to talk about friendship, but I'm also going to talk about how to know when a friendship is drifting apart. You know, like, have you ever had that friend, both of you just did everything together? This person was your friend. And then, like, you traveled, or maybe one of them got married, or one of you had a child or something, and you just noticed that, you guys are really, really not gelling like you used to. So we're going to talk about that, how to deal with that, you know? And then we're also going to talk about codependent relationships, you know, like those people who suck you dry. And I'm not just talking about money or them asking you like for money, but I'm talking about when this person talks to you or when they are in your life, you just feel drained. You know, have you ever had a friend like that? So we're going to talk about that. So now I want to focus on friendships. How do you know a friend? Something spectacular happened to me last year. It was in 2017, and it was the best gift that God could have ever given me. My mother died in late 2016. I was raised as an only child. All I do and all I have done all my life is sing, preach, minister, giving. All I've done in my life is give, right? I have very, very seldom have people just poured into my life and just given to me, you know? So, for goodness sake, when I was dealing with my grief, God did something so spectacular. I obviously live in New York, but I shuttle Nigeria all the time. And first of all, I didn't have a place to live. I know that just sounds unbelievable, but I didn't have a place to live. God gave me a place. When he gave me that place, I saw friendship for what it really, really was. You know, friendship, it's not just giving somebody a couch to sleep on. You know, but whenever I come back home, there was food waiting. And this was by somebody who is way older than me. This is a woman in her 50s. There was food waiting. Kindness. That's friendship. That's friendship. You know, somebody goes out of their way to make sure that you are fine. Somebody goes out of their way to make sure that you are comfortable. That's friendship. Somebody prays for you. Somebody listens to you. Because I was raised in such a extreme way, I was raised in a way of A or Z, black and white. I was never gray. I didn't know how to be in the middle. Because of that impediment, because it is an impediment, because of that impediment, I was so used to telling myself, oh, you're so stupid. You're such a failure. Why did you say that? Now I'm for you. You are such an idiot. These are things that I used to tell myself. I noticed that when I was saying this around two precious people that God brought into my life, Lehman and Ike, we did everything together in New York. I mean, from schooling to churching to everything. Whenever I say those things to myself, especially Ike, he will say, no, that's not who you are. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. I have been so used to being dismissed in my life. Whenever I'm crying, I was so used to someone saying, is that what you're crying about? Or, oh, just stop all that crying. Is it every time that you will be crying? So I had this mentality of actually being scared of my own vulnerabilities. That whenever I started to be vulnerable or actually started to feel an emotion, I would feel guilty for feeling that emotion, and I would feel uncomfortable because of the people that I was around. I didn't have healthy people around me. I had people who were doing ministry. I had people who were in work mode, but I didn't have people who were there to be emotional nurturers. A friend is an emotional nurturer. A friend not only helps you out with everything, but they build your self-esteem. It's okay to cry around that friend, and not feel bad because they're going to pick you up. It's okay to be vulnerable. Even now I get teary-eyed because really, if you've ever had the opportunity of having a friend, it's a blessing. It's like being given gold. And you even ask yourself, whoa, God must really, really love me so much to bring somebody that precious into your life to show you just how precious you are. Who is a friend? Last year I found out what a friend was. But most of all, I found out how to be a friend. Oh yes. Because of my position and because of everything that I do, I don't have a lot of close relationships. I have business partners. I have PAs. I have staff. But close relationships, interpersonal relationships. It's not that I miss these relationships or anything like that, because you really can't miss what you don't have. But when God brings an interpersonal relationship to you that actually works, whoo, it's a blessing and your life changes. So because of that, you will find yourself uncomfortable. When a true friend comes into your life, you start wondering, what do they want now? It's too much now. They are calling me like 20 times a day. What is it? And you will notice that this friend is not asking for much. They are just, all they do is give. And when they do ask, they have a way of compensating. It's amazing. I really, really do pray that everybody gets to experience true friendship. What is friendship? They are giving to you. They are loving you. They are speaking into your life. They don't put pressure on you. You can be vulnerable with them. They are looking out for you. They defend you, not just in front of you. Not just in front of you, but behind you. They are there behind you. They lift you up. Oh, I will never forget who my friend Lehman is to me. His name is Lehman. That guy is just amazing. Is it to building a website? Is it to staying up at night to edit a book or an article for me? Is it to tell me the truth? Oh, no, Mama, you shouldn't have said that. Oh, no, that's not how to talk. That's not how to behave. And they say it, and he says it in love. Him and Ike are friends. So they say it in love. So you don't feel like, have you ever had a friend or somebody in your life who, when they are correcting you, you feel like they are putting a knife in your throat? And it's very hard for you to even take what they are selling to you. A friend is somebody who can, dog you out and you don't even feel dogged. Because of how they are saying it. Just the delivery is who a true friend is, because that friend is after not crushing your spirit. They are not after being right. They are not after putting you in a mold or graveling where you have to gravel, to respect them. That's not a friend. That's an authoritarian. That's a dictator. That's not a friend. A friend is somebody who, they are actually eager to even hear their faults so that they can do better for themselves and do better for you. That's a friend. A friend is loving. A friend is sharing. A friend is kind. A friend is also upright. A friend is honest. A friend is integrous. A friend is sacrificial. You understand? If you have somebody in your life who is not giving you at the same measure, or at least they are not giving you one thing that can compensate for what they are not giving you, that is not a friend. And please let me use this time to tell you that anybody who doesn't invest in your life, or somebody who is incapable of giving to you to that magnitude, does not make them a bad person. Remember, we are the product. We are the product of our background. We are the product of our upbringing. We are the product of our experiences. So when you see people who are toxic, people who just really don't even know how to be friends, believe me, they are not going out of their way not to be friends with you. They really just don't know how to be friends. However, do you just stick around to become a pawn in their hands? Of course not. You move on, you have compassion for them, you feel sorry for them, but don't really expect much from them. Not because they're selfish people, but because they really just don't know how to give. They don't know how to give. Friendship, loving, kindness, praying for that friend, being so sacrificial. I am going to come back in a few minutes so we could talk about drifting apart. We could also talk about codependent relationships. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to the show Emotions with Omenesa. Thank you so much for coming back to listen to us. So, I've been talking about friendships. Okay? I've been talking about friendships, and I've been telling you that a friend is someone who is there. A friend is someone who is kind. A friend is someone who gives. A friend is someone who doesn't punish you. Do you have that kind of person that they punish you because you were honest with them? It's called a silent treatment. That's a very, very dysfunctional person, and that's a dysfunctional relationship, and you need to get out of it. Okay? You shouldn't be in friendships that, or in so-called friendships that drain the life out of you, or they shut you up when you're trying to be yourself. They punish you. They don't know how to not take you for granted. All they do is take you for granted. They don't give as much as they should. They don't even know that they should give. They're always expecting, always expecting, always expecting, always expecting, just draining the life out of you. Okay? Now, let me talk about drifting apart. So there are many things that cause a relationship to drift apart. Many things. So one of the things could be marriage. One of you gets married. One of you gets a job in a different country or in a different state. One of you has children. And it's very, very straining on a friendship where one person is not married, and then the other one gets married and has children, and you're still not even married. So the dynamics of the friendship changes. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen most of the time. That has happened in my life, and I've seen it happen in the lives of people around me, is that seasons change, and when seasons change, a friendship could really be under pressure. A friendship could change. Another thing that could make a friendship drift away is maybe you were gossiping about the friend, or maybe the friend just didn't know how to take what you said, or maybe the friend is too egotistical. They can't really swallow down any kind of advice or whatever, so you start to drift away from that friend. Or maybe you hurt that friend and the friend has forgiven you, but they don't want the friendship anymore. How about if it's just in a normal situation? There was no offense, there was nothing. Changes does happen. Changes do happen, excuse me. So if you're in that kind of situation, what do you do when you notice that the friendship is drifting apart? You guys are not talking all the time. It takes you time to return their phone calls. You don't even miss the friend. It gets to a point where you don't even miss them. You forget their last name. You don't even know how to spell their first name. Whenever you're in the country like me, because I live in two countries, you would notice you don't even feel like calling that friend to let that friend know that you are around. You don't go to visit them. You don't care. You see them on Facebook that they've had like 2-3 children, and it's on Facebook that you hear about their growth. You don't hear, they don't pick up the phone to call you. That's a drifting friendship. If you find yourself in that type of situation, let it take its course. Maybe you may want to ask, like for me, like I'm a very, very confrontational person. So if you find yourself in that mode, you may want to ask, hey, like what's going on? Hey, have you noticed that our friendship is drifting apart or whatever? And they could be honest with you. They could tell you that they have a lot on their mind, or they could tell you that they're going through so many changes, or maybe they didn't even notice, or maybe they noticed it and they don't know what is responsible for it. Don't keep badgering the person. Oh, have you noticed that things are shifting in our friendship? No, let it die a natural death without breaking it, because chances are, if you are badgering, and if you're trying to figure out what is going on and what happened and oh my God, and you start to freak out, you will lose that friendship because you're going to put that other person on pressure. I know what I'm saying because I've been on both ends. I have been the person who was badgering, hey, what's going on with our friendship? And I've been the person where the other person was wondering, hey, like what's going on? And I've also been in situations where I had friends who got married and they moved on. And it's not that I was not married, but they moved to a different state. They moved to a different country. They are facing different dynamics, new challenges, new triumphs, new trials. There's no common denominator. That's what makes a friendship. It's a common factor. It's just like a marriage. There has to be something that is common, something that both of you share, a conversation that both of you like. An outfit. I like, through my Ankara business, I have gotten a whole bunch of friends because there's a common denominator. Through my singing, I have gotten friends too. There is a common ground in friendship. So when that ground is taken away, when that ground has completely been taken away, it's hard to be that person's friend. And when you notice that friendship is drifting, it doesn't mean that the person is a bad person or you are a bad person. No, life is happening. That's exactly what's happening. Life is happening. How do you handle it? You let it run its course. Really, it's like the weather. When you see that it's so hot, like you don't go shout on the sun and yell on the sun, like you just let the season take its course. When you see that it's raining, you just get an umbrella. You don't yell at the rain. It's a season. There are some friendships that will never come back together. There are some friendships that were seasonal. So my advice is that you stay thankful. You just thank God for everything that you learned in that friendship. You count yourself blessed to have even been in a relationship where somebody was looking out for you. And then I've been in very toxic relationships, which now bring me to codependent relationships, where you're even scared to talk. First of all, a codependent relationship is a relationship that is based on addiction. Just like you're addicted to drugs, or you're addicted to alcohol, or you're addicted to smoking, or you're addicted to sex, or you're addicted to something. This relationship is not helping you, but you're addicted to the relationship because you just need somebody to be around you. So there are two parts of it. And people who come from homes like this are people who come from dysfunctional homes, people who their parents didn't listen to them, people who all their dreams, all their efforts were dismissed. When you do something, all your mates are getting 99. Why are you here with a 98? Things like that. They don't applaud your effort. So you kind of grow up feeling alone, but subconsciously you're now trying to hold on to every relationship, every person who comes into your life, every type of relationship. You're subconsciously holding on to that man. You know that man beats you. You know that he's not a good person. You know that he has issues, but you're holding on to him because you're trying to fill a void. You know that woman is abusive. You know that she's crazy. You know that she steals from you. You know that she's sleeping with all your friends, but you still stay in that friendship because something on the inside of you is looking to fill the void. That is a codependent relationship. A codependent relationship you guys do not feed each other, or maybe just one person is feeding you. It's a terrible toxic setup. Somebody who has codependent tendencies is they just don't trust. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust you. When they are feeling sad, they do everything that they can to make sure that they don't feel sad. They don't trust their vulnerability. You know, like these people really are hurting people and they don't even know that they are hurt. It's such a terrible thing to be hooked up with somebody who is codependent. They have issues, rejection, abandonment issues. They do all they can to make sure that you don't abandon them. They really, really do all they can to make sure that you do not abandon them. They are skeptical. They are scared. They are paranoid. They live in anxiety all the time. They're always scared that somebody is going to leave them. And let me tell you something about codependent relationships. These people are not going out of their way to say, oh, I'm going to use you and I'm going to take all your money. And all I'm just going to do is you're just in my life for me to ask you for money. No. They are not sitting down to think about these things. Because they don't have an emotional core, they have the inability to give. They can't give. They can't give love. They can't give compassion. They can't give money. They can't give time. Everything is an effort for them. And when they do something, they remind you. They constantly remind you of what they have done. That little thing that they did when you're the one who is always giving. This is the personality of a codependent person. This is the personality of a toxic person. They really cannot help themselves. They don't know how to give. So because they don't know how to give, you, on the other hand, who is a giver, who is a lover, who is a friend, you start feeling used. And if care is not taken, you would actually think, you would even start to call them names. Oh, you're such a user. Oh, you're such a taker. You are so this. You are so wicked. You're so maladaptive. You're so this. You're so that. Don't talk like that. We are the products of our upbringing. In order to be codependent, you witness somebody who was codependent, either your mother or your father or your siblings. It's something that you're trained into without knowing. And before you know it, voila, you don't know how to give. The core of friendship is give and take. The core of friendship is giving. If you cannot give, you are not a friend. And I'm sorry if you find yourself in the position where you know that you can do better, but you don't know how to do better. On one of my shows, I talked about being intentional. There is no habit that cannot be broken, and there is no wound that cannot be healed. But you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional. When I got this wound here, you should have seen it. It was bright red. It was bleeding all the time. But now it has healed because I made sure that I oiled it all the time. It was intentional. I made sure that I didn't wear sweaters that brushed on it. I made sure that I didn't expose myself to the sun much. And if I was going to be outside for a long time, I made sure that I put a Band-Aid on it. Because it's not just about healing. It's about healing properly. People who are in toxic relationships, codependent relationships, people who don't know how to be friends, people who unhealthily drift apart, are people who have wounds. That's just the bottom line. That's why I like this show. Because we are talking about one thing on this show. Emotional healing. That's it. If you are healed emotionally, you will have a better marriage. If you are healed emotionally, you will be able to get along with your colleagues and get along with your boss. If you're healed emotionally, you will be able to get along with yourself, and therefore you will be able to get along with friends. And you will have friends. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a point in my life where I didn't have any friends because I didn't know how to be a friend. All I knew how to do was give and mask. Giving is not friendship. There are two different kinds of giving. You can give so that you can be given to, or you can give just because you have a heart of giving, just because you have a good heart. You can give because you are trying to fill up a void, or you can give just because you want to give. I've come into the place in my life where a young lady, Patience, a man, Liman, and a man, Ike, didn't just give me friendship, but they also taught me how to be a friend. They corrected me when I was wrong, and they also gave to me. They gave me their time. Especially Patience. She's something else. When I'm singing, she's the loudest. Like, she's rooting for me. She's screaming for me. Oh, good job. She's always happy. Compliments me. She's always there. These three people are always there in my life, and they also tell me the truth. So, The secret to having a good friendship is to give of your heart, give of your mind, give of your soul, and even your body. And when I say body, I mean your money. Give where it hurts the most. And don't give to receive. Just give. Until next time.
You will have to jump off a cliff, just knowing that you will not crash.